Scorpio, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid to late January 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Scorpio collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do you got for us? What do you have for Scorpio gang in mid to late January as we move on into Aquarius season? What energies, messages, insights can we take a peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Scorpio in mid to late January. What's the vibe? Let's get this card. Oh, there we go. The deck is really wanting to talk to you today, my friends. Hey, we got our good pal here. I haven't seen him in a while, Mr. Bookhead. Okay, all right. Just so if any of you are new, I love this card. It's one of my favorites. It always makes me crack a smile and makes me feel happy. So maybe that's a good energy to start off the Scorpio reading with, right? Like a nice, lighter, happier type of energy. Now, there's a lot of things that we can think about when this card shows up. Before we fully dive into it, though, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the January subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk about this fine individual here. So if you look at the image, we have this young individual that I call Mr. Bookhead, right? And he has a book for a hat, book for a necklace, books and scrolls and all sorts of stuff in his arms. So that does imply knowledge. It's a very studious type of energy. It can also link to knowledge acquisition and all that good stuff. But it reminds me of the Page of Pentacles, and it just makes me laugh. You know, one day I will construct my own hat that is made out of a book. I promise you that. One day it'll be my Halloween costume one day. But yeah, this to me it's good. It feels like the Page of Pentacles, and I always say when it comes to all pages, they're students, but they're also messengers. So there is this undertone with Bookhead that links into communication and speaking. But I will say this, for some Scorpios, it's a great time to learn things, be a knowledge sponge, where it's like I'm picking up information. Now, for some of you, you might be in seeking mode right now, where you're thirsting for information, you're thirsting for knowledge. It does feel like an information sponge, so it could be good for that. It's great for learning stuff. And then yeah, there's this undertone of communication, but we're gonna let Bookhead chill right there for the time being. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say with that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading, it's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright, then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up one time here for Scorpio gang. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So it was fiery, and I always say if there's any fire sign or any water sign that can deal with fiery energy, it would be Scorpio. And the reading was titled Explosive Action Incoming. Now, that can mean a lot of things, right? Action, whether it's actions you take, actions other people take. To me, it felt like it kind of started popping off out of nowhere. So just keep that in mind. That energy could bleed over for a couple weeks. There was a little volatility in the air, but we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards here for Scorpio gang. What do we have in mid to late January? Mid to late January. Thank you. Cool. 9 of Pentacles. That's a good card. That's a good start. We're going to get her tucked right in here by this amethyst. Try not to shake my card table too much. Let's get a couple more. What do we got for Scorpio gang? Thank you. Page of Cups. That's good. Scorpio, I am cautiously optimistic about what I'm seeing in the energy for us this week. Let's get one more. That is a Scorpio power card and the Magician. Okay. Listen, I'm going to try to keep this nice and pragmatic and even keeled. You know me, I don't like to call positive a positive until I see the clarifiers, and the same thing with negatives. But this is a pretty good way to start off a weekly reading. And if you're cross-watching for a Scorpio, the same can be said, because all these energies work very well together. Now, let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you know I always like to look at the elements first. And we start with a very complementary mix. We start with earth and water. And the Magician doesn't really count because he's master of all elements. So he could just chill out over there as a major arcana. But earth, that represents the material world, I think. To me, it speaks of security, our feelings of security. Do we feel safe? Do we feel stable? So things like that could be on your mind. When I see pentacles, I think of money, business, work, finance. It could also represent the world around us. So I mean, home and family. So if the world is a play, the pentacles are the stage. Over here on the in the center, we have water, which is Scorpio's power element. That's Scorpio's comfort zone. That's the world of emotion. That's the inner world. It could speak about things or people that we care deeply for, that have a piece of our heart. It could represent creativity, emotional expression. It's very artistic and tapped in, and it is one of the cards or suits of partnerships. So I always say when you mix water and earth together, that's a recipe for abundance. And then, of course, we have the magician over here, which we're going to talk in depth about. So I'm liking what we're seeing so far, Scorpio. I mean, the downside with the water, sometimes it could be a little up and down, but the earth kind of settles it in. Let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we're starting with the Nine of Pentacles. Now we see this lovely lady. She's standing in her garden, growing those pentacles. She has her pet bird on her finger, and she's solid. She's stable. Now, again, every card has a drawback to it, and we'll talk about that as well. But when I see her, I think of blessings. I think of abundance. I think of someone that's like solid and firm. They know who they are. They're standing in a very good place. So I like it. Yes, it does tie a lot into materialism. I'm not saying you're being materialistic, but this is especially great for money, work, and business. I'll just keep that in mind, especially if you're like dealing with work things or looking for work. This is great. This is a huge card of independence where it's like, I can do it on my own. I will do it on my own. This is a lone wolf card, which can be good, but at the same time, lone wolf, it could be difficult. I mean, Scorpio is usually fine with it. Now, the downside to this card is that it could be set in its ways. This card could sometimes be a little stubborn, where it's like, all right, I'm close to the finish line. I'm close to getting what I want. I feel pretty content and happy, but I just want that final stretch. So, yeah, watch out for stubbornness, stubborn individuals, stubborn situations, because this energy can sometimes feel stuck, where it's like, I'm content, I'm good, but things can be better. So, we'll look at it. I'm thinking it's okay, though. Like, you know me, I'm not going to turn a positive into a challenge. Now, as we get her tucked back in by the amethyst, we're going to start talking about our good pal in the center, Mr. Page of Cups. So, similar to our bookhead friend over there, it's like a youthful, vibrant energy. Aside from being Scorpio's power element, this is a Scorpio power card. So, it could represent a Scorpio, a Pisces, a Cancer. Usually, it's a more youthful energy. So it could represent new things, fresh things. And as I mentioned with the bookhead, pages represent students, learning, and also communication. This one does lean a little more towards the communication, so like talks and messages, whereas like the Pentacles is more studious. This one is more about expression. So I like it for that. So we're going to have to see, is this a talk, conversation of some kind, or some news coming in? Could very well be. But what's the downside of the Page of Cups? Sometimes it could suppress things. Sometimes it could be very hush hush, secretive, quiet, where it doesn't want to say something because it doesn't want to be judged. The Page of Cups can also like be a little shy or very cautious about who they talk to. So we do want to look into this. The thing about all pages and aces is that they're great. They have a lot of good potential, but they're not a guarantee. So we'll look at it. Now, moving to the back end, as we get this page tucked right in by the Nine of Pentacles, once again, we have the Magician, one of my favorite cards in the whole entire deck. Lovely. Biggest card of manifestation in the whole deck. And as I mentioned, he's the master of all elements. This is a master manifester as well. Now, the Magician can tie into any sort of spiritual work, spiritual practice, so whether you're doing rituals, whether you're praying, whether you're meditating, whether you're doing yoga, the Magician ties into all that. It's like spiritual practice. So if you don't do much on a daily basis regarding spirituality, maybe Spirit wants you to inject some of that into your life. Spiritual practice might help you feel better, whatever it might be. The Magician, as mentioned, is a magnet. It pulls things towards it. The Magician doesn't chase, the Magician attracts. So when I see this, it tells me your powers to create and manifest are heightened in this time. We're all manifestors. We're all natural creator beings, but sometimes the energy works easier than others. Right now, I feel for Scorpio, the energy is heightened to pull things in towards you. Now, what might be the downside of such an awesome card? The Magician is also karmic. Notice that little infinity symbol over his head. So it could be speaking about karmic related things, but the Magician can also represent control. So whether it's situations you can't control or situations where you have full total control, the magician is trying to control and micromanage. So like the downside of this card, sometimes it could be overly controlling. So I want to dive deeper on all this, Scorpio. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Nine of Pentacles. See what that has. I'm feeling optimistic here, my friends. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Scorpio, drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Feeling very optimistic. That bookhead card really set a good tone. Let's hope it stays that way. So why is the Nine of Pentacles here? Cool. Good. I think it's good. So we have Temperance in reverse. This is great for spiritual protection. That's one thing I will say. Big Sagittarius energy. But this is also an energy that's like, no, I'm not going to wait around. To me, it could be someone that had like plans in play, plans. So again, there could be something here around strategy I'm picking up intuitively. Not sure if it's you or somebody else, but it's like I have plans and I'm not waiting anymore. It's an energy that's pushing forward. So I love the action that I'm picking up, just like we saw last week. Now, for a portion of you, your patience could be a little low with somebody or something. I don't feel like this ruins the reading or anything like that. I like it because to me, it's that good, positive, blessing energy moving forward. If this was in the upright, to me, I'd be like, okay, we're looking at some delays, we're looking at some problems. But with this in reverse, it's like, my patience is a little low with something. So there could be various things, people, situations where like you don't have much patience for it. I don't think it's bad though. I don't, because I like how the energy moves forward. I'm already seeing like wins and victories, but I also get this energy where it's like I'm not going to wait around. I'm not going to waste my time. So like you could be very conscious of like your time and if you're wasting it or if you're not. That's just how it feels. So we're just going to keep moving forward. I don't think we need to overcomplicate it. It is what it is. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to waste my time. If I'm not seeing the results, I'm not going to sit around and waste my time. And then there's this thing about around the planning too. So let's go in on the Page of Cups. We'll see what that has because we still have a lot to go. There is that action in the front. So why is the page here? Quick, super quick. Same thing. Like I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting. All right, so we have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse underneath it. Yeah, I've been seeing this too. This could also represent things looping back around. I've seen this extra throughout the whole entire zodiac this week. So like Seven of Pentacles in reverse, that being a karmic card under the Page of Pentacles. It is one of those energies of something or someone looping back around, reuniting. But at the same time, there's like this not waiting anymore type of energy where it's like I don't have the patience. Like if it's not working, it's not working. If the option's not there, I'm just going to find the other option. Like to me, it's like on to the next, on to the next, on to the next, which again doesn't have to be a bad thing. Now, the Seven of Pentacles, usually you see it. Look, he's patient, he's calm, he's letting those things grow, just sit and wait and wait. And when I see it in reverse underneath it, I mean, unless this is a talk or something that comes out of the blue or a message, it could be that where it's like it just pops on in. So, like a surprising message or talk, that could easily be it. But there's just this energy here where it's like, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to wait around. So, we're going to keep going. And yeah, I do have this return energy as well. And we'll see what shows up with him. We'll see if anything else shows up. But we might have to just see what the magician clarifier is to really tie it all together. But why is the magician here for Scorpio gang? Quick. Boom. There it is. There it is. Shocking energy. If this was another sign, I'd be a little concerned. But since it's a Scorpio gang reading, I'm not concerned in the slightest, my friend. So we have the tower in the upright underneath this magician. Absolutely shocking type of energy, but it feels good to me. You know, at this part especially, I'm always going to go intuitive. So to me, this is like a shocking winner victory where it's like, I'm not waiting, I'm pushing forward, I'm not waiting, I'm not wasting my time, boom, and then it all just comes in at once. So I think this is really great. And if this is the energetic potential for Scorpio in the coming days and weeks, like you could have a lot of big shakeups moving in your way. in this time. This feels like a shocking winner victory. It does. I'm not saying that like, oh, when you give up on something, that's when you're going to get it. For some of you, maybe that's the case. But to me, it's like, I'm not wasting my time. I'm not wasting my time. Boom. Now I get what I want. So this does feel like a shocking winner victory. But let's talk about the tower. Yes, it can represent endings. Yes, it can represent upheaval. It is a scary piece of imagery. But guess what? I'm sure some of you already know. This is a Scorpio power card. It's one of the cards that represents Scorpio. And it's fast and it's powerful. And when we have this magician, remember what I was saying, the power to create and bring things towards you are extra heightened. Then we get the tower. This feels like a shocking winner victory to me. Point blank, period. And I'm going to throw one more card down just to be sure. I'm already sure, but just to say, let's get one more quick card next to that magician and tower. Let's one more card next to that magician and tower. Yeah. Yep. So King of Pentacles, boom, right there. And that's another card of blessings and abundance, and cup runneth over. In the upright too, it's solid and stable. So I'm not concerned in the slightest about this tower. So yeah, Scorpio, there could be something where either you've been waiting on it a while or wanting it for a while. This energy, the door is just wide open. Shocking winner victory. All right, let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. If you kindly look in the box, position number 1, we got the Nine of Pentacles with Temperance. The energy feels good to me. Watch the patience level. Like I said, there could be certain things or people or situations where you don't have much patience for it. But the energy just feels like it doesn't want to waste its time. That's the big overarching theme here. Again, it doesn't feel bad. It does feel like a win coming your way. It's slow in the front, totally different when we get to the back. In the center, we have the Page of Cups with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Of course, I did say this could represent something looping back or something trying to return, so keep that in mind. But again, same time, it's like I don't have a lot of patience. It's like I'm moving forward. I'm not going to waste my time. And then boom, right here on the back end, we have the Magician with the Tower, shocking winner victory out of the blue. So if there's something you have been patient with and you've been waiting on, if there has been something you've been wanting and haven't been getting results, we get the results right here. And then we had the King of Pentacles as the clarifier to the card and clarifier, just to make sure it wasn't anything sketchy. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Right. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, what do we got here for Scorpio gang? Quick. Eight of Pentacles, cool. So for those of you that are having like issues or situations or anything that's more so revolved around work and business and money related stuff, the Eight of Pentacles shows up here in the shadows. Now, the good thing about the Eight of Pentacles is it's a great card of effort. It's a great card of trying. It can also represent being able to fix or mend something, or like, yeah, I'm going to fix it, I'm going to make it right. But the downside to this card is sometimes it could do too much. Sometimes it could try and try and try and try. So notice we had this little theme about like conserving your energy and not wasting it. That's something that's super important here with the Eight of Pentacles. I'm not saying don't work hard. I'm not saying don't try to get the results that you want, because of course you're going to, because you're a Scorpio. We're dealing with one. But yeah, the Eight of Pentacles to me is all about energy conservation. All about energy conservation. So that's just something to keep in mind. Work hard, but not too hard, my good friends. And for some of you, there is something, even if it doesn't feel like it, there is something that could be fixed or mended when I see that. So, Scorpio, that's what I got for you this week, my beautiful friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The January subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, or if you'd like to see what 2026 has in store for you, you can book a personal reading with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The January schedule's already up, so you could go check it out and see what's available. It's going quick, but for the January subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of one of my favorite decks, the Everyday Witches Tarot. It's absolutely adorable and is great for readers of all skill levels. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments from today's reading, which card spoke to you the most. Even if the reading didn't quite hit, which card was giving you those warm and fuzzies or really caught your attention. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.